So today we're making a long-awaited video. Many of you have been asking me to share my cold calling script and what the exact process that I go through to book my meetings for my agency. I'm not saying this is the best script, this is the only thing you can use. I really believe that most scripts are pretty good out there. It's more so like the way you conduct yourself, and the script itself, like you can read it line by line, and one person can have success and the other one not have success with it. So today, not only am I going to be sharing the script, I'm also going to give you other things you have to take in account for when you're actually doing your cold calling to boost your success by 100%. Okay, it's not enough to just screenshot my script and then just copy it and then just start reading it to your prospects and then hope it's going to work. Okay, that's not how it works. It's a bit more complex than that. And today I'm going to explain to you the whole process of how it's going. And if you do actually take the time to watch the entire video, I'm telling you, you're going to find a lot more success than the regular screenshot method. So without wasting any more time, we're going to switch the camera. I'll show you my screen and basically what I wrote down in my notes. But basically we're going to be talking about things you have to keep in mind when you're cold calling. So these are things that constantly have to be in your mind 24/7 when you're actually having a conversation with a potential client. The cold calling process. So I identified 4 phases that you guys have to master. The script itself, and also at the end I'm going to give you a pretty big game plan of what you can follow, a realistic game plan. You know, not these people who say like, oh yeah, in your first month you can get 4 clients if you do this method. Like a realistic game plan that you guys can actually follow and actually find success in. So let's get started with the video. So here we are on the script page. Don't worry, it's more than 3 lines. I'm going to try to make this quick video. I don't want to make this a super long 20-minute where I talk about random stuff. But basically, this entire document, if you can really follow through the entire video and listen to everything I'm going to say and really understand it and implement it, honestly, you're going to be good to go. So let's do this real quick. So a couple of things to keep in mind when you're cold calling. The goal is to sell the meeting. You're not trying to sell your $2,000 per month Google ad service or Facebook ad service. You're trying to sell a meeting so that you afterwards can use a more proper presentation form to really explain what you're trying to sell the client. Afterwards, you want to present it in a way where there's only upside. It's a win-win situation. So either the client, he moves forward with you and he uses your service, so that's a win, or he gets a free consult on his online marketing, and that's also a win. Afterwards, low commitment. Okay, don't make it a big deal. Just tell them it's a quick 15-minute meeting where I can show you exactly what our service is and the results that we're able to get for our other clients. Very simple, low commitment, quick 15 minutes, quick 30 minutes. Don't overcomplicate things. So the entire process, I basically separate it in 4 phases. Phase 1 is to get to the decision maker, so the person that can actually say yes on using your service. Phase 2 is to be direct once you're with the decision maker. You don't want to waste their time, but more importantly, you don't want to waste your time. Okay, remember, you're going to be making about 100 cold calls per day, so you want to move real quick. You cannot waste your time. Phase 3 is to pitch the meeting. And then phase 4, you set the meeting up. Pretty simple. So this is the juicy part, the cold calling script. Now, before I actually get to the script, I do want to mention that I have been using the script with a couple of coaching clients of mine. If you don't know, like I am offering coaching services now. And basically, we use this template and I make it a lot more customized for their own business. So with their offer, their niche, together we write a cold calling script that can work for them. And honestly, they've all seen success. I've had a viewer who in his first week got his first meeting. So that was very impressive. It was faster than I did. So I was very impressed by that. Otherwise, all the other coaching clients within like 2-3 weeks, they were able to consistently book meetings from this exact script. So I'm very confident in showing you today this script because I know it works. Like not only does it work for me, but it also works for complete beginners who never cold called in their life. So I'm fairly confident in what this script can do. So starts off pretty simple. I like to start them off by just introducing myself. So I say, hey, it's Oliver. Am I reaching the owner of? And then you'll name the business name. One of 2 things will happen. Either you'll meet a gatekeeper, so that can be a secretary, or you'll be directly to the decision maker. If you're to the gatekeeper, the objective is to get to the decision maker. So often enough, if you ask this question, the secretary will say something like, what's this about? Can I take a message? Something like that. So me, what I say more or less is I'm actually a marketing student and currently I'm volunteering my time to help now you name your niche, let's say plumbers, to help plumbers acquire new customers through online marketing. Would it be possible to speak to someone who's in charge of your online marketing or social media? Something along those lines. Now, notice that when I'm reading the script, I'm not going word by word. I feel like that makes me sound too robotic, and it feels like I'm reading a book to the client rather than just having a simple conversation, which is what you're doing basically when you're cold calling. You're having a conversation with a person. So I like to voluntarily add like okays, pauses, just to kind of build more rapport with the person and make them feel like they're not talking to a robot. So once you say that, the secretary is either going to put you through with a decision maker, or they're going to say, he's currently not available. Could I take your phone number, your email down? Which in that case, you'll give everything out, and you'll also ask them when would be a better time to call, and then they'll say probably tomorrow before 11 o'clock, and then you call back tomorrow. You have to follow up. That's very important. So once you get past the gatekeeper, which is probably the hardest part, we get to this part where we talk with the decision maker. This is very important. Okay, not because the information itself is important, but because it's the first impression that you're giving to the decision maker. So you don't want to screw it up, especially this little paragraph right here. So it goes something along these lines. So I'm going to be honest with you. This is a cold call. So I do have something to pitch your business. Would you like me to hang up now, or could you give me 30 seconds and then you can decide for yourself? Very simple. And again, notice the way I'm talking. I'm not reading the lines. I'm adding words. I'm removing words. I'm changing them. I'm adding pauses. Very important you do that. Okay, this is possibly the most important thing when you pitch. Because before, when I didn't do that, I would get shut down right away because you could easily tell I was reading a script. But when I started adding more ums and sounding more human, it was a lot easier for me to just get past that point and start a fluid conversation with the decision makers. So with all of the coaching clients, we work on this like intensively. I make them read me this thing back to back nonstop until they actually sound human and not reading a book. And many people think you have to memorize the script. You don't have to memorize it. See, you notice how I'm reading it? I don't have it memorized, but I'm still able to play with the words around. So that's a skill that you have to develop and practice, okay? Ideally, you practice with someone else so that you can actually have a conversation with someone, okay? So after you ask that question, you'll get, okay, go ahead, something along those lines, and then you'll proceed with this new paragraph. In this paragraph, you basically just want to explain more or less what you're doing, as well as present your offer, which is why it's very important to have a good offer, because if your offer is a no-brainer, then it's going to be very hard for them to say no. So go something like that. So basically we help plumbers with their client acquisition. So let's say if you were to work with us, we could actually handle your entire advertisement and appointment setting process. So we can get you at least 15 new clients in your calendar every month, or else you get your money back. Does that sound like a fair deal to you? So something like that. Again, very simple, straight to the point. You present your offer, you add ums, you add okays, you sound a bit more human and play around with the words, okay? Now, at this point on, they're most likely going to ask you a couple of random questions, which is why I really like to emphasize the point that you have to learn the basics of your service delivery, because if you don't learn your service delivery, how are you going to be able to answer their questions? If you follow all the advice that you see on YouTube, which is hire a media buyer from the get-go, you'll be completely screwed on this part. And especially in the meeting, that is especially there where you have to know your service delivery, because they will ask questions. And if you're not able to give them proper answers, they're going to think that you're not able to do what you're offering. Okay, so that's very important. Now, after the questions, you'll start to get, you'll feel like they're kind of on board with what you're saying. They're like, okay, this sounds interesting. Okay, like I'd like to hear more about it. Once you get that kind of feeling, that sense from the prospect, this is when you go to pitch the meeting part. So again, you have to emphasize the point that it's a super quick 30-minute Zoom call. So that's something that I said earlier in the video. So basically it goes something like this. Perfect. Let's set up a super quick 30-minute Zoom call to discuss how we can, and then you name your offer. So give you 15 new clients every month. And at the end of the call, either we move forward together, or you just walk away with a free consult and you can take everything that I'll be showing you and have your team applied for you instead. Fair enough? Simple as that, straight to the point. Emphasis that it's a super quick and also the win-win situation. So either we move forward together or you walk away with a free consult. So it's win-win. And then at this point, they're either interested or they're not. If they're not, you can keep pushing a bit more. That's what I usually do. But once you get the okay that they are interested and they want to move forward, This is basically the easy part. You just schedule a time and a date with the prospect. And what I like to do is just schedule it as quickly, as soon as possible as I can, because you don't want them to forget about you. You just got them all excited on a call and you want to keep that excitement. So what I usually do is I say something like this. Great. I actually just had a spot open up tonight, if ever that works with your schedule. Otherwise, I'm free tomorrow all of morning. Which one do you prefer? Something like that. Okay, you don't ask them, does tomorrow work? Because they might say no. And then they might say, can we do it next week? And you don't want to give them the option of scheduling it next week. So I kind of present it, either we do it tonight or we do it tomorrow morning. Which one do you want? Like it's a this or this. And then at the end, very simple, you just agree on a date and time. I like to do that over the phone. And then afterwards, you can just send a confirmation email with the Zoom link. And obviously just thank them for the time and say that you're looking forward to seeing them in the meeting. And yeah, that's pretty much it with the scripts. As you can see, nothing too crazy. I like to keep it very simple. And as I mentioned, this is a script that works. It worked for me. I was able to book about 30 meetings per month. And also all of the coaching clients, all of the subscribers that I've worked with, I basically give them the script. And of course, like I will change it around because this is more of like a general template, and it would be better to go more in depth on your niche and your offer. But this is a good base to work with, and I know if it worked with the coaching clients and they were able to book plenty of meetings. So very confident in giving you guys this script. And oh yeah, and also the game plan. I almost forgot. I almost forgot the game plan. Game plan is very simple. Basically, this game plan is another thing that I normally do with the coaching clients. Like they'll give me their availabilities. They'll tell me what's their goal, how many cold calls can they do per day or per hour, should I say, like how much hours of cold calling they have available. And together we work on the game plan to reach their goal. Here I just made a general game plan. Basically, the goal is to make 10 grand in 12 months. And when I say 10 grand, it's 10 grand per month. And normally I like to give a very worst case scenario of a close rate. This is a 10% close rate, which is very bad, but I assume that when you start, like it would be something around those numbers, but as you practice, as you get better, these numbers will improve. But again, just for the sake of planning, I like to keep it at the worst case scenario. So 10 meetings to get one client, and on average it's going to take you about 100 cold calls to get one meeting. So that means that to get one client, you need to get 8,000 calls, which might seem a lot. And if you want to reach 10 grand per month, you will need 7 clients, assuming that each client is worth 1,500 per month. Afterwards, assuming that you only work on the working days, which is normal because businesses are normally closed on the weekends. So 7,000 calls for the year, you have 250 days in a year. That means that on average, you need to be doing about 28 cold calls per working day, which is super easy, super realistic number. It is not at all crazy, which is why it makes me very mad when people don't succeed with cold calling. Because I know you guys are just being lazy and you're not being consistent. I mean, all you need is 30 calls per working day. That is absolutely nothing. I was doing over 100 cold calls per day. So if I was able to do 100, you guys are able to do at least 28. And also don't forget that this is assuming that it takes you 10 meetings to get a client, which is honestly, like, it would be very bad if you were at this point. Okay, a more realistic number would be 1 in 4 meetings, something like that. Yeah, so as long as you do 28 cold calls per day, you follow the script, and make sure when you follow the script, you're not reading it like a book, okay? Add a bit more energy to it. I know that like when I do these videos, I seem very monotone and I'm not crazy excited and everything like that. That's just how I am naturally. But when I pitch, I am a different person, okay? I add so much energy, and you have to be hype, and you have to be one of those people who are like super bubbly and everything like that, okay? I don't like those people. I don't like to be like that, but when I pitch, you have to, like, it's going to help you so much if you can do that. All right, so that's going to be all for today's video. I hope this was useful. Basically, this is the script that I use to get over 30 meetings per month. I know it works. It's effective. Honestly, the hardest part in this entire cold calling process is just being consistent with the 28 cold calls per day. But I'm telling you, if you can be consistent, you'll become better over time. Your closing rate will go up, and you'll end up signing more clients. Simple as that. For me personally, it took me like a good month of struggling with cold calling. And after that month, that's when I started seeing my real results. I was closing meetings left and right because I just had the script down. I knew how to use my tonality and all the other things that I explained during the video. I had everything down. It was so much easier for me to get clients that way. Okay, so I hope this video was useful. Take the time to understand it. Watch the video a couple of times if you have to. You really have to understand everything that I explained from A to Z. All of the little processes, the little tricks, the little tonality things you have to do. Very important you understand them in order to see real success with your business. All right, that's gonna be all for today's video. Thank you for listening, and see you on the next one.